Hi guys, in this video we're just going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be testing out a new pen. So I've got it here, I haven't unboxed it yet. So let's get straight into it. And I ordered this either from the Wish app or on eBay. I just got it from, I think it was from China. It took quite a while to get here, it's been nearly a month. So it's a pretty cool case that it comes in. And you can see we've got the glass pen itself. I like how they've protected it, something over the nib. Although I think that's glass as well, and you can see how it's been cut. It's actually quite sharp, this bit. Okay, so I'm just holding this up so you can see it a little bit better, assuming I don't lose focus. It's pretty cool actually, it's pretty fancy. I could have got this in a few different colours, but I thought the dark blue would show up pretty well on camera. I've got this, I assume this is some sort of stand for it. I have no idea if that's actually how it's supposed to stand. Yeah, I'm going to assume it is. And then it came with a bottle of ink. I don't know if this is indicating the colour or if that's just a pattern it's showing. I'll maybe have a quick look at that later. Actually looks like it's gold in the tub, which is pretty cool. So I'm not sure how well you can see this close up, but there seems to be like little white bits inside. Almost like little beads inside. So let's see if you can see this one here, for example. I assume it's meant to be like that, which is cool, but there's one here on the outside by my finger here. I don't know if this is going to show on camera, and it's actually really quite sharp. Might have to sand that down or something, file it down. Okay, on a side note, I've actually just found out what these little white bits are, and it's actually pretty cool, so I will show you that very soon. First of all, let's just test this ink that came with it. Somehow I've already got it on my fingers, and I've only just taken the cap off. I should probably point out while I'm doing this that I have absolutely no experience with dip pens or have no idea how to use them. And that is pretty cool. It doesn't look as gold as it did in the tub. I'm not sure if it's just so concentrated that it's gone dark, but it definitely looks like it does have a metallic sheen to it. Seems to hold a surprising amount of ink. Take a proper look at that now. I will dip it fully in. I assume these glass sort of twirly bits are what hold the ink. Doesn't seem to drip off the top. Probably going to end up putting my hand in this, but let's see how far you can go drawing a longer page one way before it runs out of ink. Okay, so it was running out of ink towards the end of that first line, but then I've just given it a quick twist round and it seems to be working fine. This holds a lot more ink than I would expect it to. As I say, I don't use dip pens normally myself, so maybe they all do, I don't really know. Admittedly, I did dip this right into the tub, so you can see it went right up to the very top of where you would put the ink. But as a complete novice with this, I was expecting it to just sort of get maybe one line, maybe two. I really was not expecting to still be doing this. Okay, finally we're starting to see some signs that it's running out, although nope. Another twist and it seems to be working fine again. This is crazy. I should have bought more paper. He's definitely struggling a lot more now. You can see where it's starting to run out, but as I say, you can just sort of twirl it because of the shape of it. It seems that some bits seem to get a little bit more ink. This must be some sort of magical dip pen, because I'm sure that dip pens cannot hold this much ink normally. This is absolutely mental. How is this pen not run out yet? Okay, we're starting to get to the end now. You wouldn't be able to use it like this realistically. So I guess you could say that it's pretty much run out there. Although you could argue that it's still giving out a little bit when you give it a twist. I could probably get a little bit more out than that, but I think we could probably leave it at that. So I think it's fair to say it holds a decent amount of ink. I'm going to colour in a patch here just to see what this ink actually is, because doing it in lines like this, I'm not sure how it looks on camera, but it looks just pretty much black anyway to me. So blocking it in like this, I can see that it's almost like a black with a gold sheen over the top. As it's drying, it seems to be a lot more gold. It's actually pretty cool. Let's take a really quick look at how well it cleans. Whoa, that was cool. Did you see the pattern that came off that? That was awesome. Right, back on track. Let's see how easily it cleans. I'm using a plastic container, a plastic tub for this. Just because I heard someone say if you're using a glass container, you might smash the tip on it if you're tapping it. So that seemed to clean straight off really easily. I don't know if that's more to do with the ink or the pen itself, I'm not sure. So I'm just using some other ink here. It is Indian ink from Jackson's, I think it's called. It was just a cheap one really, just something quick and easy to use on a video. So I'm going to see if I can vary the line weight at all. Because obviously it's made out of glass, there's not a lot of give to it. That line there was pressing a little bit harder. Ooh, I was going to say I'll see if a fast stroke gives a really thin line, but it seemed to sort of dispense the ink. It seemed to, I don't know, drip off of it. Maybe I held it on too long. Oh. So any fast movements, there must be so much on the tip that, I mean, that's probably my fault more than the pen itself, but when you first dip it in, if there's a lot of ink on it and you do a sudden movement, it seems like little splashes come off it. And now that I'm trying to do it deliberately, I cannot do it. It actually feels like it's struggling more with this ink than it was with the other ink that came with it. So let's see how well this ink washes off. Again, awesome pattern. I hope that shows up on camera. Oh crap. Damn it. Okay guys, so I am back with a little bit of ink on my fingers. I have cleaned up and that was awful. I now have about maybe a fifth of this ink left and I'd only just opened it. Luckily it was only a cheap one. Ah man. So all I'm going to quickly do is just compare the line weight to one of my other dipping pens that I've got. And between swapping pens, I am going to put the lid on, learn from my mistakes. I'm genuinely struggling to get to the ink at the bottom because it's so low down now. Oh man, I cannot get over that. Okay, so a normal pen in comparison. You can still get the thin lines. You do get different ends for these. So this is actually quite a large one. Okay, so you can see the advantage of a standard dipping pen compared to the glass one. It's obviously the varying line widths you can get. Again, put the lid on between shots. And last of all, one thing I just wanted to show you, which is awesome, which we mentioned about these little white pearly bits inside. Some of you probably already know this, but prepare to be blown away because it's going to get dark for a second. How awesome is that? Doesn't really help with drawing at all, but it's pretty cool. Can you imagine if I turned this light back on and I'd spilt more ink? Okay, so now on to more of a demo bit. The idea here was I was just going to use them to actually draw a piece, or to ink a piece, just to get a little bit more of a feel for using the pen. However, I did encounter quite a big problem. You can't tell too much in the video because it's sped up an awful lot, but I had a lot of difficulty inking this piece with this pen. So although it sounds really stupid, in contrast to everything that I've just said basically about how long the ink lasts on this pen and how I filled the entire page, I could not get it to, well, I couldn't get it to work, which sounds ridiculous saying that about a dip pen, but I kept dipping it and then kept drawing and nothing was happening. It wasn't coming off the pen at all and I could not figure out why. So I kept trying to add more ink to it and things like that. And I did try different pots of inks as well, different brands, stuff like that. But it just was not happening. Yeah, when I put large amounts on, I could sometimes get some lines to work, obviously. But overall, I was getting so frustrated and I could not figure out why this was happening. I was gonna completely give up and scrap this bit, but I'd spent a little while drawing it out already. So I figured at the very least I'm going to use the other pen, my other dip pen, and just finish it with that, just so that I've got something to show on camera. And I've slowed this bit down now actually just to show you. I thought maybe just adding more ink would fix the problem. Maybe I wasn't dipping the pen in as far, and as you can see it still didn't seem to write overly well and a big dollop of ink fell off, let's say. So I pretty much ruined this piece. I was really annoyed at this point, to be honest. I was really frustrated with this pen. It started out so well in this video, and then after testing it, I was just really annoyed. I do not know if it was the ink or what it could have been. There was no logic to it, to be honest. Some of you guys who know a lot more about inking dip pens than me, feel free to leave a comment and let me know if you think you can tell what it is I've done wrong. but it made me want to describe the pen as temperamental, because I cannot figure out why it worked so well at the beginning and it didn't seem to do so well at this point. So for the price of it, I paid about £3 or £4 for the glass pen. Comfort of the pen seemed fine. I only used it for about an hour or two though. Compared to a normal dip pen, well, a regular dip pen has more options in terms of line weight, and as you've now seen, it gave me a lot less problems than the glass pen did. So overall, functionally speaking, a regular dip pen would probably be much better, much more reliable. But there are still a few pros to the glass pen. One being it's really cheap and has some cool, gimmicky features such as glow in the dark. When it was working properly, it seemed to hold an awful lot of ink, and it was super easy to clean the end because you don't have to sort of remove the nib and things like that. And before I forget, this face that I'm drawing was from a photo of a sculpture that I found on the Pinterest board for the 100 Heads challenge. I don't know the name of the artist, but what I will do is I will put a link in the description box below the video, so I'm just using his photo as a reference to draw this. I haven't come up with this design or anything like that. So is it worth buying? Well, for £3 or £4, if you want a glass pen, I would go for it. I think it's a great idea for a gift, and at first it seemed to be great. I genuinely don't know why it stopped giving out the ink for me. So I will say mine has been very temperamental, but it would make a really cool gift for someone. Anyway guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, something a little bit different to usual. Please let me know in the comments below your experience with inking pens like this, or maybe if you've got a glass pen, let me know what your experience is. As usual, please do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content. Thanks everyone.